Hold on, I gotta start it here because look at this. Look at that. That is just the funniest little. Of course, it's Ivno's mission. That's why. That's funny as hell. Alright. Kundo's River Valley. This is gonna be an interesting one. So we've got two sets of main forces, two areas there. Let me go ahead and put my prediction up for OFCRA. I always like to do a 15-minute spread here. So let's go ahead and set this up. You know, I'll be nice. I'll be nice. We'll do 20. Alright, let me verify. I think it's blue for UK and op for Russia, right? Yeah, perfect. Alright, that should be good. Adjusting my mic here, making sure everything's covered, and we should be good. Alright. Hey, Axel, how you doing? Just making sure my audio setup is alright. I noticed in like the last week of editing some of my videos, the audio got a little too close. My voice wasn't distinctively coming out over the game or other voices, so I'm just readjusting it because sometimes my mic, I make no changes to it, and then it'll just randomly start editing itself. It's kind of weird, but oh well, keeps me on my toes. Nonetheless, we're back with another OFCRA mission this week. I will be commentating this, of course. Then later tonight, we will have POG. So, with all of that, we've got about, let me actually do a quick check on the numbers for y'all. We have about 112 people on tonight for this scenario. That's a very nice number to go with. At least we're in triple digits. And I'm going to go ahead and look at the scenario breakdown. You can always follow along with the mission command. Otherwise, it's mainly going to be a neutral objective hold. Give me 1 second, actually. I'm still getting better after being a bit sick. I need to get a tissue. So my body's still healing after all that stuff that happened between Tuesday and yesterday. It's like a 24-hour flu, but we're better now. Anyway, today is mainly going to be a purple mission. God, I shouldn't use colors to describe it. Basically, OFCRA, there's neutral objectives, and then there's side-specific objectives. For this round, it looks like it's going to be a lot of neutral objectives, aka stuff that both groups can capture, common objectives. So, let me go ahead and break those down. So, looking at everything, let's actually do the individual objectives first. So, Op4 have to destroy a fuel truck. Let me tune my mic real quick. There we go. Op4 have to destroy a fuel truck, and basically, okay, there's a supremacy bonus on today as well. So, Blue 4 trying to protect a fuel truck. If they can deliver it into a blue zone, which I'm looking for right now, and I actually do not see anywhere. We have the fuel truck marked in a debug position right now, so maybe these will come up during the mission themselves, so the sides can't plan for them. We got a purple zone up here. Okay, no. So blue zone's right there. So Blue 4 have to deliver that fuel truck within there by the 45-minute zone to gain a point. Op 4 have to destroy it within 45 minutes to gain a point. And if the fuel truck doesn't make it into the blue zone but it's not destroyed, no one gets that point. There's a supremacy bonus, so if you're able to knock out as many of your opponents as you can, you get them down to 8 or less players. Actually, it says fewer than 8. So 7 or less players, you gain another bonus point. And then we've got some capture and hold objectives here. So, southern outskirts of Mugdughelia, which is going to be cashed in at the 30-minute mark. Whoever has more players in here by that 30-minute mark is going to gain 3 points. Then you got the center at the 50-minute mark when it's cashed. That's going to be worth 2 points. And then the northern outskirts is worth 3 points. And then the regional administrative building, which is here, that purple zone is worth 4 points. So a lot of neutral objectives kind of focused around this area here. So that is pretty much where both sides are going to be fighting for. Blue 4, it looks like they spawn a bit closer considering that they've got their reconnaissance force right there to go into the AO, whereas OPFOR, they're a bit more forced on the southern side. And I guess we'll see where that fuel truck spawns because it's currently in debug. All right. So overall, that's what? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 15 points for Blue 4, 14 points for OPFOR. Blue 4 get 2 points if they get the fuel truck in to the blue zone by the 45-minute mark. OPFOR only get 1 point for destroying it, so a slight advantage to them. Otherwise, we'll just have to see how the rest of this goes. Tweaking my mic settings a little bit to make sure we're not getting any peaking anywhere. Overall, I am feeling a bit better today. You know how when you're sick with something like, you know, within your throat or your tonsils, you're sick and then you get better, but then there's like a day or two of you kind of, you know, your body healing it, and you still feel kind of sore or raw over it. That's what I'm going through right now, and unfortunately Blood Wound's now starting to come under the weather, so I'm now going to be between getting all of my stuff back and sorted and whatnot and catching up, and then also taking care of her. So I think it works out because this weekend I've got a lot of IRL stuff to do anyway, so we don't really have to panic, you know, work through any nights and pull an all-nighter. But I am going to be getting a little bit done ahead of time and you know, trying to get next week completely taken care of and, you know, move to the proper servers so we can avoid that, you know, one jerk dick. But, I mean, we're fine. Now I just have a new system where I'm forced to get things to some people ahead of time so we can avoid that whole DDoS issue BS, but it's all working out in our favor. Just currently working on a bunch of editing and getting a bunch of other ops front log and whatnot, so we'll see how things go. I find it funny how somehow my headset is insanely loud in DayZ. Could be your audio mixing between the game audio and your other settings. I know for some games, like every time I boot up a new game, I have to immediately turn it down because I have my headset up so high. But then, you know, any game that I put on, it just blows my ears away, you know? Which is why I always do like a test recording before I ever stream any new game, just to make sure that's not an issue. Otherwise, we'll start the mission momentarily, and then we'll go over assets, and I'll give my regards on who I believe is going to win. But it's basically going to be whoever can go in and hold these orange zones is going to be victorious, but whoever's also going to be dynamically moving around. Plus, all the capture zones are very close together, so I don't know. It's going to be a standard defense and assault. We might see OPFOR send forces around, but at the same time, that fuel truck objective stuff, I mean, it's not really worth it. Maybe we'll see OPFOR do some sort of pincer where they try to hold the back area to prevent Blue 4 from cashing that in, but Blue 4, I mean, we'll just have to see where they put their forces. I think the idea of this scenario is to just prevent... No, how would I word it? It's to stretch Blue 4 out to how many areas they can hold, while OPFOR then needs to find where Blue 4 is stretched out and then push in upon, which usually favors the defender with missions like these, whoever gets there first, because Blue 4 will usually just pick an area and hold it at that point. And then OPFOR, in this case at least, the attacking faction just doesn't... They usually just take a plan and they're very static with that plan. They're not going to dynamically change it on the fly. I've seen it change in time, but usually if presented with a brick wall, squads will just try to rush that brick wall head on, and it gets very messy very quickly. But we'll have to see what assets are on both sides. That can always make a massive difference, and from there, I mean, we'll just see where things go. We're just waiting for them to push in because I think they're still doing some brief. Let's see. Main force is just going to, for the British, come around, make this crossing point, and then immediately get into the objectives. They might go a little more aggressive on the south and take that bridge instead. I think actually, road coverage-wise, it might be quicker to go down, take that bridge, and then immediately book it, whereas this one, you've got a bit more of a concave right here, but I don't think we're going to see anything go further down. Recon might try to take those routes, get immediately in the AO, but OPFOR, I mean, the Recon has a crossing point right here immediately to get on this side. There's this little secondary river they got to cross as well, though, so that'll continue to slow them down. Then the main force actually spawns on that side, so they could also just blitz up the MSR, and I'm going to be honest, so Yeah, no, I didn't realize the main force just had a straight shot here. So if they literally just blitzed it forward, they could make it first. But OFCRA usually plays a lot more defensively with their units. It's rare to see a rush like that. However, on the off chance that it happens, it usually gets them the advantage of whoever is basically able to get here first is going to significantly have an advantage on who's going to win the fight. But we're just going to have to wait and see, you know? Excuse me. Oh, Rome, you're sick too? I'm sorry, man. I hope you feel better. I think everyone's getting sick, man. Alright, so we're going to be here for another 2 minutes. Asset-wise, I'm waiting until we get pushed in to see them, but I mean, this is all going to be some pretty heavy CQC. We got a few hilltops by the villages here, but if we look at like comparison points, I mean, 47 to 40, and then we got a little bit of a saddle that, you know, takes high points off to the right. So from these hills that are more open, you can start seeing the outskirts of the village, and then it looks like there's a bit of a drop off on the left. You see where you got this little slope right here, and then going left you got that openness. So there's definitely a high ground and a low ground, but all the fighting for objectives appears to be in that high ground. So if one side can just come in and make a defensive line out of those 3 zones, they'll be okay. And I mean, with 50 players, you can hold a kilometer of distance if you pick the right buildings. But at the same time, it's also going to depend on what faction has heavy assets. Are we going to see artillery come into play? Are we going to see long-range autocannons come into play? Tanks, IFVs, but at the same time, I mean, we saw that last week, and the side with all of the artillery and whatnot still just couldn't basically pull itself out of a plan that they made, and they just kind of got picked apart and annihilated. But I mean, that was also an example of how, you know, one side had a plan, and it was a very static plan, and once it ran into resistance, they weren't really able to adjust with anything more than like a squad or 2 out of the, you know, 120 players that were on the servers. They had, you know, a full platoon of about 40 with assets for that extra 50 to 60. So again, I think whoever basically runs into a brick wall first is going to lose based off of how all of this is going to work. So I think OPFOR are going to get that ability to have a proper Russian bonus, but I mean, that makes sense. They are the Russians, right? Haha. Anyway, fuel truck marker is still in the debug corner, so we don't get to see where that is yet. But let's go ahead and look at OPFOR's forces and then transition over. So for OPFOR, we've got their reconnaissance forces. It looks like we've got suppressed weaponry. I see SVDs. I see that's a Saiga shotgun based off of the magazine and the barrels. That's interesting. We got some AS Vals in play as well. Suppressed AK-74s. So, I mean, this is pretty well organized here. I think that's a ABS, some sort of suppress. It's the Spetsnaz pistol. And then they've got the up-armored gazes from a specific mod. So that's quite nice. These are quite bulletproof, and they are spacious in the back compared to the other RHS gazes that have gun turrets. I mean, these are just more heavily armored and definitely resistant to small arms. We also have some RPG 26s in play for these guys. Looking over at the main OPFOR force. Look at that. So we've got some BMP3s. At least I think they're BMP3s. I'm not sure if they're either BMP3s or BMD4s, but either way, they've got the tank cannon, they got the auto cannon, they got the 2 coax turrets. But I mean, that's very, very nice to see. We also got some BTRs in play. They're BMD4s. That's what I was thinking, because the chassis was a little off for me. But yeah, no. So either way, same turret chassis with those 2 same front nipple turrets, but a lot of firepower in these things. But it being a BMD means it's also a lot less armored, because this is meant to, like, you know, be deployed from planes and whatnot. And then we got a bunch of transport trucks as well. So standard infantry here, we're going to have AKs, some SVDs in play, RPGs, some GP25 systems as well, PKPs, all right. So that is a good mix of gear. And then we also have some scopes for some of the leadership. Looks like that's NPZ railing with pit bulls, I believe. Yeah, so vanilla scopes with that. And then the vehicle crews get the AKS-74U. We haven't done a meme with that in a hot second. All right, let's go ahead and look at Blue 4, starting with their reconnaissance element. What do the British have for this scenario? So we got 2 Land Rovers. We see suppressed M4 platforms here. L85s as well. Mini-Me's suppressed. Those are always a nice choice. They've got some pump-action shotguns here. And we got some AT4s for their ATs. So evenly matched, I would say. I guess the L85s. Oh, no, we got some GLs for that as well. I'm trying to see what their marksman rifle is. I forget the designation. I think it's G28. I could be wrong, though, but that's a 20-round 7.62x51. But if someone wants to correct me on the designation, because I'm drawing a blank on that one, that's the L129. Gotcha. But, I mean, most marksman rifles for Blue 4 countries are the same. It's some sort of 20-round 7.62x51 NATO marksman rifle with a scope. Like a 417, yeah, any Mark 10, exactly. Otherwise, looking at the main force for the British, so we've got more of those L129s, we've got more L85s. The freaking bullpup rifles, man. Anyway, their vehicles, so we've got 2 Warriors in play, and then we've got 3 Pit Bulls with GPMGs. So the firepower on the BTRs is going to be better with that 14.5mm. That'll actually disable these, I think they're Pit Bulls, compared to the 7.62x51 medium machine gun isn't going to really disable anything. But the IFVs, I mean, these are pretty well armored compared to the BMD4s, so definitely an advantage there. I'd be willing to bet the main gun off of the OPFOR vehicles is probably not going to be able to fire. It's only going to fire autocannons, but we'll see how things go. And then we also have some SMAs in play for the British forces as well, I guess, to rival the RPG. I don't know. Overall, I think vehicle asset-wise, OPFOR have a bit of an advantage with those BMD4s compared to the IFVs, the Warriors. Yeah, the Warriors are more up-armored, but, I mean, the BMDs, they have those 2 frontal machine guns as well. I mean, they can pack a lot of firepower compared to just a dedicated IFV with the autocannon. It is nice that they do have the camera system right here, though, that can also be lifted up, so these have a little bit of a viewership bonus here compared to the thermal optics of the BMD, but I think the Warrior cameras here, these can potentially lift up, so it's not bad. Hearing some misfires here, people firing their guns and whatnot, that's fine. Let's actually go ahead and look at these objective areas here. So, yeah, like I said, there's that low shelf over here. You've got those roaming hills on the backside. You can see where it slopes up to reach that. You got those hilltops in the middle, but this original orange area here, I mean, that's all just going to be CQC with that drop-off on the side. Then you got this central area right here, which is going to be worth those 2 points. Another 3-point objective on the northern side. And then you've got the final administration building, which is in Blue 4's hands. And then you also have that Blue 4 turn-in place for the fuel truck, which is right back here. I'm going to be honest, with that many points on the board, if OPFOR were to just rush in and, you know, take the orange zones, that's what, 3, 6, 8 points right there. And Blue 4 would not be able to, even if they scored all of their objectives, beat that. So they're going to have to at least go for the northern zone. So what we'll probably see Blue 4 do is throw a lot of elements at OPFOR, see what kind of happens with this, and then probably pull back and form defensive objectives on the other areas, whereas OPFOR is going to hold their zones, and then because these southern zones are cashed in quicker, then they're going to start fighting and pushing Blue 4, making them on the defensive. So it's going to basically switch out. OPFOR is going to be on defense first, and then as the mission progresses, then Blue 4 is going to be on defense. I like this, though. Usually with OFCRA missions, it's very one-sided in the sense that one side is usually playing the defensive objective the entire time. But in this case, it's going to be switching out based off of the objective, so I do like this variation. We'll just have to see what happens with the special forces here actually going out and trying to take objectives both on both sides, excuse me. But both appear to be taking both vehicles here, so they might stick together, they might depart, but yeah, no, I think this will be a quite interesting match. Meanwhile, let's go ahead since we have 45 seconds left. We're seeing all 3 BTRs fielded, both BMD4s fielded, a few of the transport trucks fielded, with some dedicated 2-man crews for the vehicles. I kind of like that as a choice. You don't want to keep so many infantry locked in a vehicle. Whereas Blue 4, they're still trying to figure everything out. We've got at least 1 or 2 of the pit bulls being taken, both warriors being taken. One of them being used as a infantry transport, and then a few trucks as well. Sometimes with OFCRA missions, we see the objectives across a large AO, kilometers apart. Here, everything's very close together. They're within, honestly, a little under 2 kilometers for like the entire distance of everything. So, I don't think there's going to be a need for having transport to basically go from objective to objective. Everything is more than walkable here. But what I want to see immediately is OPFOR rush this zone. And right off the bat, we just had one guy hit a thing. But we haven't done a number play up here. So let me just, this is 100 names. So Blue 4, we got Phobos, Spirit, BD, Kaiser, Vovkedov, Tuglite, Bard, Gek, Spotty, Drapper Hard, and Overdrive, Nubas, Lola, Masano, Wonder, and Paris. T with Ozzy, Snobus, Thomas, Templar, and Grishowski, Kevin, Kremit, Rapasanor, 50 Cal Fan, Cheeseburger, Danny Sweet, Barros, and Depso with Cali, Kyle, Rodrig, Ander, Rufi, and Zmiel, Fonz, Bursty, Henry, Nuzzy, Goose, Sambi, and Snodja Bear. Another reconnaissance group here. We got PHK, Rigel, Goatland, Lieutenant Dan, Ivnomain, Temovar, and Cuboid. Then we've got the vehicle crews, Wiki Quartz, Skipu, and Z. We have another mechanized crew with Ellis, Lieutenant, Marvin, and then we have another painter here, which is Nick Dean. That's all the names on Blue 4. Op 4, we're going to see immediately rushing in on this side, but going over all of the Op 4 names here as they come up. We got Oddball, Whiteside, Nemesis Killer, J, Duiton, and Watts. We got Owok, Gouliet, Shadow, Grazka, and Leziak. We've got Herzog, Vosberg, Flamin, Staub, Willie, and Obspur. I'm just going to call him Wilkie. Flip for Flat, Delta, Azanor, Mr. White, Arthi, Emil, Jonathan, and Mancho. Or is it Manco? I think it's Manco, actually. Newton, Toxic, Aedor, Daniel, Gamble, Diego, Messino, and Gadobico, NASA, Debugged Unknown Player, Kazag, Swola, Tackleberry, and Ash, Adrisep, Gargan, Gregory, Dufois, Wojtek, Monty, and Geralt, Twig Kane, Thomas, Crazy, Jasper, Settler, Prycol, and Seismo. And then the vehicle crews have Sam and Jamera, as well as Alexander and Lolo, and then Dr. Snuggles as a one-off. So the command squadron are these elements here. Usually that means Oddball would be the one in charge, whereas Blue 4, the command team, has Phobos, Spirit, and BD. I believe that's Phobos, but I'll be looking for officer signs just to check things. Sorry, I hit the wrong key there. I meant to go into map. Interestingly enough, Recon is now rushing to the end of the MSR, where we've got the Op 4 BTRs still trying to push in. I'm waiting to see if Blue 4's reconnaissance group might try to get on this MSR and set up an ambush. But they've done a bit of a far dismount here, I guess not trusting that they can get here quicker than the Op 4 line. So we got another team for Recon heading right up on the southern pick here, probably trying to set up a hasty ambush as well. But with that, so Goose is staying back on the vehicle. These guys trying to maneuver to set up an ambush, but they've already lost that opportunity. These guys also, they don't have a lot of AT. We see one of them, I think Bursty's bleeding a little bit, but trying to see who has that stick of AT to actually be able to do something here. There it is. All right, so Goose manages to take out an entire BTR group, starts firing some suppressed shots here, knocking people out left and right. That was their only stick of AT. Meanwhile, over here we had another ambush. So Op 4 desperately trying to rush in here, but they are taking heavy casualties. An entire squad has gone down in this truck. Cuboid gets flashbanged. The other vehicles start to do early dismounts, realizing that they have been ambushed here. Great use of the reconnaissance teams early on. And we still have some people in the vehicle. They just have chosen not to dismount yet. They're playing dead inside as they are slowly burning to death. So we'll see if Blue 4 are able to set up any more ambushing here. That has definitely slowed Op4's ability to move in. Great use of those ambush teams already. I'm going to be honest, I agree with what Op4 did in terms of rushing those forces in, but I also agree what Blue 4 did in making those hasty ambushes. Perfect counter to really good play Op4 was going to make, because that was the only way they could be countered. And we got some blind shots now. Goose is just trying to do a big flank around here. I think he threw that smoke as well, but he's trying to make sure that he gets everybody because he's alone here. But, I mean, overall, what we've seen in OFCRA in the past is even if one side gets a few vehicles ambushed and lose a few infantry, it's not enough to change the game. If this was FNF, I would say Op4's already lost. Because once you have a play like that in an FNF game, it's impossible to bounce back. But here, it's still going to be possible to see that bounce back. But now we need to see Op4 dynamically change the plan. So we already see that some Op4 elements are starting to engage some Blue 4 elements that were trying to push around to see if they could get any more ambushes here. Blue 4, I'm going to be perfectly honest, they shouldn't be here anymore. Goose looks like he just timed the dismounts here and got into a 1v1 with the 2 remaining guys that dismounted. So now that entire group is dead. They try to get out and rush him, but Goose was able to take them both out. But at great injury to himself, his squad is still not moving up to help him, which is quite interesting. They're actually starting to take fire now from afar. But what we could see here is Blue 4 try to maneuver forces past the objectives, actually reinforce their groups here to keep Op4 in these open areas where it is very advantageous for Blue 4 to make these front lines. And I think that's what we're going to see based off of, I thought we saw some of these vehicles coming in, but it looks like Blue 4 instead is going to now hold objectives. I don't agree with that. I actually do not agree with that. I think if Blue 4 are entrenched, they have backup ready to arrive, I think they should be focusing on just trying to be aggressive here with keeping Op4 back. But like I was saying earlier, once someone's made a plan, they usually stick with that plan. So Blue 4 could capitalize on more gains in this position, but I don't think that's going to happen. Instead, you're just going to see Blue 4 start to slowly pull forces back and hold objectives. This could really do with some IFVs coming around to assist, and I'm also curious where Op4's IFVs are in this mess. We do have one situated over here, and then another one is way out there. I see. So the fuel truck has now been marked. We're going to see if Blue 4 tries to send a force down to take it. Otherwise, you just have all this Op4 element over here. I guess they're trying to do a flanking play around on the side, but have to see how that goes. Cuboid, meanwhile, running up, trying to get grenades into that one building. He's unable to. He's got a shotgun. That's why he's being aggressive here. He vaults the wall before he's able to be taken down. Wow, that shotgun sucks. And it's a single shell reload. Wow. All right, so shotgunners are going to have a shitty time this up. Yeah, he didn't even kill him. He's AFK. And he goes, huh, whoa, there's a guy right there. Holy shit. Yeah. I'm going to be honest, that's why I do not like shotguns in PvP, because they're usually not balanced properly, and that shit happens. That's one thing I wish Arma had, was some shotguns for your secondary slot, but not your primary. I settled when they started putting master keys on certain guns, but again, shotgun secondary is pretty nice, but I also don't understand. I think they're trying to suppress the Blue 4 element over here. Ah, because Nuzzy and Henry were up there and they got gunned down. That's why. All right, so these guys, meanwhile, pulling back. Goose still up here. It looks like he's done all the medical he can. He's just checking bodies at that point. But yeah, if Blue 4 starts slowly trickling forces around, I mean, not the best call in the world, but anything can happen. Lieutenant Dan now breaching on his own. Knocks out that AT gunner. He's bleeding a little bit. I don't know from what. Gets the knockout on him. Reaches around, finds the squad leader. Hillary Clinton's him. I'm going to rule that as a suicide. And then he takes friendly fire from Blue 4 elements there and starts double tapping. So a triple kill for Lieutenant Dan. He's also the one that ambushed that vehicle, so he's already 11 kills in. And he continues it. 12 kills in. Great aggression to see right there. He could take that RPG and start taking out take out the BTR forward, but that is a great push by a single infantryman. You rarely see it be this successful. But now OFCRA is going to start pushing more people in and trickling up to Lieutenant Dan. The question is, can Lieutenant Dan continue this hold at 12 kills? The Audrey Hotto record officially is 21. Unofficially, it's 24. Lieutenant Dan getting some legs with that suppressed rifle. I mean, the KD alone, 12 players in a 120-person match, that's 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. That's 20% of the opponent here. I think Whiteside's about to get him, though. Lieutenant Dan on kill number 13. Whiteside going up. Kill number 14. He just 9-banged himself. Oh! Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That was unexpected. I guess that was a concussion grenade. Yeah, can we get an F in chat for that? I know that's a generic thing for streamers to say, but that's one of those rare times where I will say that. Yeah. Alright, BMP is no longer messing around, and it is causing this Spec Ops group to now fold back as multiple people get killed for that. Hold on, I just got a message over TeamSpeak. I think Cuboid clipped it, yeah, and then put it in all of the chat to see that. Wow. Wow. That's something. Alright, OPFOR, they're going to move up and destroy the fuel truck to get a point on the board. Maybe we'll see them attacking the rear side, but we do have a Warrior IFV watching this angle, ready to ambush anything that comes in. So good placement by Blue 4. They're basically forcing OPFOR into a direction via the fuel truck, so then naturally from there they'll come around and cross. But wow. Just wow. Alright, Blue 4 now trying to be aggressive, but they do have another casualty right here, so OPFOR knows they're coming. We see some more suppressive fire going in. One person gets taken out, his body gets flown away. And they were able to actually knock out a few guys on this side as well. Well-placed grenade, not close enough to do enough damage. Another grenade going far. Detonates just a bit short. These guys, yeah, they're charging a BTR without realizing a BTR's up there. Another grenade gets thrown up. And Demovar cannot seem to thread the needle with his grenades there. Now they're taking more friendly fire from out here, though, not realizing... Yeah, so he takes a friendly fire shot from a machine gunner like a kilometer to the north. Massive miscoordination against the players that are honestly doing the most legwork here. Now that they're pinned with no cover, look at double knockout for Parthius there. I think both of these guys put their heads at the same area, and Parthius was just able to drop them both. He's panicking, though. He's throwing defensive grenades and whatnot. Could see some wake-ups. PHK, meanwhile, coming around. He gets the breach. Swola coming around. PHK was stuck reloading that magazine there. Demovar also knocked out, so that is one commando team fully knocked out. But the damage they have done to OPFOR is pretty significant. The command team, Oddball, was one of the guys knocked out. So without any command from OPFOR, you just have these two pincers. But look at the numbers. You got that, and then you got that, and then look at Blue 4. I mean, I think the ability for the two commando teams to push and inflict a lot more casualties on OFCRA has, I think, started to show the difference in the game. We've got another BTR cooked off over here. So OFCRA are down 2 BTRs out of 3. They still have both of their BMDs up. Might have some flanking fire from the BMD to start hitting Blue Fort Garrison, so that's where we could see things turn around. Brig, how you doing, broski? Thanks for the 18-player raid. I'm assuming you were playing something Arma 3 related. And Dude's in an oddball not waking up, so they were headshotted. It's unfortunate that a few misplays caused the commando teams to hurt themselves a bit. They could have gotten even more kills, but I mean, at the same time, they still did a pretty significant job. Fuel truck is dead, so OFCRA do officially have 1 point on the board. Wondering if Wonder's going to come up and potentially try to double tap these bodies. Killer J might get a shot on Wonder as he comes up to do it. But you see he's moving in, being incredibly cautious. I think oh, he's part of one of the motorized infantry groups. Let's see if he does the double tap. He might not. Killer J, I think, is going to radio and say that he just saw him. Lolo comes out and gets the knockout on Killer J. Wow. Putting some more shots out here. Killer J taking some double tapping fire. He's probably not going to wake up from that. Wonder putting some additional shots just to confirm. I think OFCRA's only hope now is, can their BMDs get into a position to snipe out Blue Fort Garrisons? There's not really anything else OFCRA can do. Just looking at the numbers here, we have a group of 3. We have a group of 5, possibly with 2 more over here for Vanguard, and then you got 1 guy up there. Meanwhile, on another flank, you have one of the recon groups, a group of 8, and then that's it. Whereas Blue 4, I mean, they still have a bunch of infantry out here trying to go on and do wide flanks. I mean, their movement's kind of moot at this point. I'm not sure if they're trying to find other OPFOR elements or continue to flank over here, but I mean, Blue 4, I mean, just look at all of that. A full page of infantry minus 2 guys. And then if we were to go to Ander there, this is where we start to see, you know, an entire group wiped and whatnot. And then we look at OPFOR. I mean, you got casualties here, 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 here. You only have 1 group that actually hasn't had a single casualty yet. AT-wise, I think the group here just tried to take a shot at that BTR with the SMA. They're now taking fire. SMA fires again. Can he hit it? He does. Minimal damage. The turret's not disabled. I'm not seeing any damage on the chassis work. The wheels are still there. I have no idea where he hit it. The shot might have just gotten completely vectored off. Huh. Unfortunately, a weak hit. We see more AT going out on this vehicle out here. However, BMD is now taking damage from the Warrior, and we see that the crew has just had a casualty inside. Lolo getting out real quick. So other Warrior was able to find an angle on that BMD and is now trying to put HE shots on it to deter the crew member. And it cooks off. So Blue 4 up another BMD kill, or another vehicle kill, this one being a BMD now. You have some Blue 4 trying to make an advance here. They're getting picked off early here, though. I agree, this map is pretty good. What? Okay. That man just went into space and immediately got atomized. That's not a good... That's not good at all. And you got Blue 4 laying low here. just try and blind suppression here. But now you got another Blue 4 group starting to go offensive here. They want to try to catch all these guys. And then was that Nemesis the remaining guy on the command team? You also have Iander, but he's all the way back here, and he's just walking in. Jesus. Bro got armored. Yeah, literally. So this is some of the this was one of the things I was thinking of might happen where, you know, if people try to assault in the low ground, they get caught by positions in the high ground. This is what's going to happen. The low ground's unable to advance, and as soon as they do, they get chopped up like this. So if this force was attacking this garrison at the same time, at least it would be able to divide attention. But Blue 4, they're not mobilizing their fronts as quickly as they would like. So you got this force that came up. It got cut up quite a bit. This force is now coming up. And since these guys dug their heels in, now we're starting to see this nice little L-shaped attack on that position. But, I mean, there were some needless casualties on Blue 4 for that. But at the same time, all of that didn't need to happen. Their defender, the recon teams for Blue 4 could have just held in position, but at the same time they're taking vehicle fire, so they decided to make a maneuver. But I don't see why Blue 4 is attacking now when they had the opportunity to do that like 10, 15 minutes ago. That would have been a much better call at that point, you know? So it's hard to try to wrap my head around why we're seeing this now. We just saw a small round come in here and knock Jonathan out on the roof. He might wake back up, though. Explosions are really finicky. But yeah, this remaining infantry group, they've got no vehicle support. I mean, if Blue 4 really wanted to push them with the amount of infantry they have, I think they would be able to finish it. Yeah, we do have a single BTR still up, which is the one that took that small shot and was able to deflect it, so. And then you got some OFCRA coming in from the way north side. Another small shot goes in. I don't see the body there anymore, so I think he woke up and was able to fold back in. Surprised we're not seeing this building changing damage textures here with all the punishment it's taken. But yeah, we see that OFCRA is now fortifying this position. Maybe OFCRA's plan now, even though their commander is dead, is to try to get the northern groups to push into the objectives from the rear. And these guys just try to pull as much Blue 4 attention as they can before they go down. Not the best plan in the world, but there is some merit with that when you're desperate. Because OFCRA just do not have the numbers here to spare. I would say definitively right now, Blue 4 is winning. I think they just... I can't tell if they just blew themselves up, because that was a detonation on the rear. I didn't see any... I immediately heard the launch sound and the explosion. That was a weird one. Who knows? Maybe Iander will come up and kill all the Blue 4. These guys also just took shots. They might move the BTR up and try to suppress them. Meanwhile, looking north, you have this OFCRA group that's dismounted super far. I mean, this is Twig King's group. These are some of the best players on the server. So maybe they can get on the rear and take out a few Blue 4 and start freaking out Blue 4's line, but that all has to hold with the fact that this group survives. Because if these guys all die, then Blue 4 is just going to turn everything around once they realize they have contact. We could see this BMD on the northern side also swing around. I don't see a need for them to check this position because they already blew up the fuel truck, so that means Blue 4 is not playing that objective. We do see them going around the open zones on the side, and this is Sam and Lolo. No, it's Jamera. Okay, Lolo's in another group. But Sam, I mean, in the last stop, he scored multiple infantry and vehicle kills in his vehicle crew, so I would say he's definitely, out of all the armored assets in the AO, he is the most seasoned. So whether or not we see that turn around today, I mean, it's going to have to. Players like Sam and Twig are going to have to turn it around after that just massive loss of OFCRA life in the beginning. RPG fired in. That might have been a thermal barrack or an OG round. We do see Nemesis finally getting an angle, trying to get Parthius, knock Depso out. We do see another body there, but I think that was already there. Nemesis getting some double tap hits. However, he now takes an RPG. And I can't tell if that was friendly or enemy, to be honest. That could have been Callie, actually. but it's hard to say based off of this angle. Hey, Cobalt, how you doing? Another RPG fired out, hitting that building that's trying to make Blue 4 get out of that garrison by at least threatening to destroy the building. But yeah, these guys are at least doing everything right. They're hitting buildings, they're keeping Blue 4 entrenched, trying to force Blue 4 to pull more reinforcements to hit this group. And that is going to buy more angles for this OFCRA group to move in, but that's the key. They have to keep moving in. We have both warriors out on this side of the AO. Sam looking around. His gunner's actually Chimera here. He's not going to be able to see much from that angle. Here, real quick, I need to adjust something just to make sure. All right, cool. I mean, they're at a really good angle to snipe the warriors, but they need to reposition themselves a bit to get there. If they have the ability to fire ATGMs, because that is a standard complement in the BMD, that would be a great way to hit him first, but we might see him maneuver up. But we could see the game turn around with the sniping of these warriors here. Nemesis with a PKP also could do some damage here. Another RPG fired. Taking out some of the walls again, keeping these guys riled up. Warriors now going out, but we got the BMD following. I think the Warriors are trying to get into a position to basically flank and eliminate that OFCRA garrison. I'm unsure if 14.5 would be able to pen the Warriors' armor. I know it would be able to disable the gun. But yeah, with these guys now getting into a position to flank, I mean, there's still a little bit of a hilltop in the way. ATGM round goes in. Disables one warrior. They have no idea where they're getting hit from. ATGM takes out that warrior. Honestly, I don't think they needed to open up with that cannon. They should just go back to the main cannon and line up another missile. So they're pulling away to stay in cover. They have no idea where they were engaged from. Great snipe by that BMD. Warrior's going to back away thinking it was engaged from the south. They have no idea they were hit from the far north. They just need to reload another ATGM round. I believe the standard complement for the BMD-4 is 4 of those rounds. Now there is this bit of walling in the way. Might have to see that BMD get a little aggressive here. Meanwhile, Twig King's group is starting to push up. They found a Bulldog dismounted. They're hearing some gunshots as well. So they might... Oh, they're definitely going to spot these 3 guys, and they're suppressed, so they'd be able to just line up and tap all 3 of those dudes. But OFCRA, we could see them bounce back here. It's going to require some very critical plays from a lot of people. Many critical success factors here, but we could see it. Let's see that gunner camera. He still doesn't have eyes. He's going to the low ground now. I think they're trying to get on the wide flank, maybe to these buildings, and then they can flank them. But yeah, this warrior has no idea where it was engaged from. I think we could see OFCRA bounce back here. Meanwhile, the garrison up here starts taking fire. Twig, I think, knocked out one of them. Some well-placed GLs. We got some suppressed shots going. 2 knockouts. Phobos trying to get some radio traffic out. GL fired overhead. This is the command team, though. So if OFCRA knocks out Blue 4 command, that could be critical to the turnaround of this mission. Phobos now taking fire. He gets knocked out. Double tapping shots. They got one. Spirit trying to crawl away. He gets knocked again. So Blue 4 command has now been decapitated. So now both sides don't have leadership. And yeah, the Warrior's still in the low ground right here, but they know that the Warrior is in that area, so they're going to play defensive here. And these guys still have no idea where that vehicle is. And that vehicle is skylining, but no one's thinking to look left at the moment. Alright, so with a good chunk of those forces decapitated, OFCRA has a chance here. But at this point, they need to perform better than those two Blue 4 groups in the beginning to practically turn this around. Looks like they were able to medic Depso back up, so Nemesis was denied that kill. And he's literally just checking windows right now, trying to see if there's anyone he can pick off. Warrior is now advancing and immediately takes autocannon fire. That's not good. Wait, the gun can't seem to see where he's getting engaged from. Damage track on the Warrior here, it might be dead. We do hear Blue 4 quickly trying to run up with a SMAW. Another round just fired overhead. Honestly, the BMD now needs to go no mobile because they know that Blue 4 hold the main AOs here. And I'm worried that a small shot's going to come out and knock that BMD out. And OFCRA really needs to preserve it if they want to have a chance in taking out Blue 4 garrisons here. I honestly can't tell what they're engaging with machine gun fire here. AT shot just went out, but it was again by this garrison. They're popping a lot of smoke too. BTR maneuvering around. Iander staying low. I think he spots these Blue 4 infantry coming up. I think excuse me. I hate it when I have hiccups on that, but now we see machine gun fire going out into this garrison. Small shot goes out. I think that hit was just short. I don't see an impact crater. That could be it. But if that SMAW hit the rear right there, it would have cooked off. Warrior now on the move. It just fired around. That turret is disabled. Gunner is still focusing. So Sam's in the commander's seat right now trying to help spot targets, but they have no idea that the Warrior is on the move, and it is pushing their position. Warrior might be trying to find an angle to line its gun up to hit him point blank. That's exactly what they're doing. He's coming right at us. I don't know if they're out of ammo or what. Are they going for a ram? I don't know. The Warrior's got the BMB on the side. It's adjusted. Turret's disabled. So it leaves a bunch of smoke, and now it's moving away. Interesting strategy. So now we got Blue 4 pushing the OFCRA position. Looks like Jonathan's turned around with an SVD. He's trying to pick off people as they come in. I think he just knocked Bursty to his feet there. I'm going to be honest, I'm surprised that A, they didn't arm each other, and B, technically stuff like that's against the rules, so I have no idea what the call was there. I mean, from here, now we've got OFCRA charging into Blue 4 positions here, but they've greatly divided themselves. We just saw one guy breach on his own with an AS Val, and he got completely blown away. So now Blue 4 know they're being assaulted from the rear. I have no idea why OFCRA is this separated to the north. That's going to greatly lessen their effectiveness. And now it's just a fight for the zones. OFCRA could pincer, actually is trying to pincer on both sides. And some Blue 4 are trying to envelop certain OFCRA positions, but I mean, we see that half of this garrison is now pushing while the other half is holding back. I don't know. This OFCRA, I think, are trying their best to push back with everything. Jamera's dead. I don't know how that happened. And Sam is just waiting right here. He's getting on the gun, but the gun's disabled from the ramming. Is he gonna go for it? I have no idea. Gun's looking right at him. And starts engaging. So I think they tried to get a repair in, but he got sniped off, and then he takes an autocannon around to the back. I'm gonna be honest. Did that... Wait. Hit it again. Hit it again. How is this thing still alive? Can I be honest with you? It's taken a mag dumping from a BMD. It's gotten hit by a BMD. It's taken 2 small rounds. I'm even ignoring the fact that it's getting friendly fired here. That's the funniest part. But, like, this thing is still alive. I'd meme it more, but the fact that these guys resorted to ramming the BMD in the first place, but I mean, that should be dead. Let's be honest. That should be dead. I agree with what's that. In this case, it's cross-mod compatibility issues, yeah. Mithril, yeah, right? That's what the British discovered. Alright, BTR on the rear is now killing some of the Blue 4 infantry that came across. Leander got hit a few times. Not sure if that was by friendly fire or what, but he's now pushing. And then you got the OPFOR on the northern side pushing that area, but that warrior should be dead to rights, but I think they're just going to repair it and call it a day, which is why I'm like, yeah, the armor of the warrior is pretty OP. It has to be hit by like an ATGM to cook it off, you know? T's now trying to run out with some AT. I think Iander spotted him. Iander's 2-drunk. That was a tandem warhead, so it immediately went into the ground. Iander now folding to cover. I think he legged him. There's the knockout. Can't tell what Roofy was just engaging there. Iander putting some double tapping shots, so Blue 4 trickling those forces around has been a bit costly. If OPFOR didn't lose those 2 squads in the beginning, we'd be pretty even. So, I mean, even though Blue 4 has a distinct numbers advantage, I think OPFOR still has some opportunity to get some bouncing back. But that loss of that BMD is going to really bite him. Can Twig get the ambush here, though? Or is he busy on the radio? He's stolen an L85 with a scope, so that's a good call. Be able to confuse audio ID. We see him firing there. He might get pushed in a second. Gets caught in a reload, instantly headshotted. There goes Twig. That's why you don't want to be this separated, because then you don't have security, and then you're immediately pushed. So with that, I'm going to be honest, all the heavy hitters we saw getting picked off like that, I think Blue 4 might be in trouble here. We still got NASA. But the question is now, for the sake of scoring the objectives, with Blue 4 having this much of a number advantage, OPFOR being so spread thin, I think this is the beginning of the end at this point. Brycel just got a massive amount of shots on Parthius, and it did nothing except cripple him. More GLs going out. But yeah, the northern group's reduced to 4 people now. OFCRA, though, we've only got like 6 to the south, and they're trying their best to breach. One of those OFCRA guys just got taken out. I think the only point OFCRA is going to get on the board is that fuel truck kill. Alright, I mean, we're seeing even trades to the south, but Blue 4 have the manpower to even trade, whereas OFCRA don't. Looks like they're going to ditch the Warrior because they can't get it repaired enough. And now we just have one guy left in the zone here. And he's dead. Bird's dropping grenades now. I mean, on 4, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think 10, 11 back there, whereas Blue 4, 6, 7, 8. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So Blue 4 have a greater than 2-to-1 ratio on OFCRA at this point. And we're only at the 41-minute mark. We're not even halfway through the match yet. So great ambushing early on by Blue 4. Great counter plays by OFCRA, but it wasn't enough. And I think what really rubs me the wrong way is that the vehicle ramming. You're not supposed to do that, and I think that greatly changed the outcome of this match. That Warrior should have been dead to rights in 2 different engagements, and the crew is still alive. That's what kind of bugs me the most about this match. Simply because that BMD should now be practically sniping some of the infantry out. I don't think it would have been enough to necessarily change the match, especially with how accurate you saw those small shots. I think that would have eventually taken out the BMD. But it still feels a little icky, you know? Like, that shouldn't have been a thing, but whatever. Content's content, right? So Gerald trying to find an angle on some of these players out here from NR. Now they're trying to turn around and find an angle on him. I'm also a little disappointed that Twig King didn't rock out as much as he should have. I like to see the combo kills by him, and when he drops the ball like that, it disappoints me. Yeah, so the main admins, though, I think are still, like, on the ground playing, though. At least they were in that sense, but that'll be an interesting thing to debug later. So here's what's going to happen. We're at the 42-minute mark. I think it's the 45-minute mark where we start seeing objectives cash in. So Blue 4 is just going to move to hold that zone, maybe move some forces back here, and then OPFOR are going to slowly trickle in. So the rest of this game is going to be fairly slow. But otherwise, we also have POG's third phase for the Project 11 redo campaign. Map's going to be changed up quite a bit. We also have some pretty interesting custom objectives to go with, and we're just going to be doing some town assaults and whatnot. So that'll be interesting. And then later in the evening, I'll try to do a quick thing of mission dev for you guys on something that definitely I don't think you've ever seen before. So it'll be an interesting concept, to say the least. I don't see a Blue 4 body there, but if there's a Blue 4 guy there, I think they're instead trying to shell that building. Oh, no, it's Blue 4 trying to do it on an OP4 position. So Gerald's making Blue 4 freak out. And OP4 have more or less rallied down here, so we'll eventually see these infantry push with or without their BTR. They've also got some OG warheads, so they could do some easy pickoffs of some infantry, but well, at this point we're just waiting to see. And then some Blue 4 are now moving north to find any other Op 4 stragglers. But that's it. That's the map. So at least they're in communication with this BTR. The BTR is trying to deliver some suppressive fire. OG warhead hits the building, but doesn't go inside. We also have a dead body in here. Freshly ragdolling, so they're able to pick him off. I think they can hold fire at this point. They've made it. Gerald on 4 kills here. I mean, pretty much playing Siri at this point, though it was, what, Lieutenant Dan with the 14 and then the 15th being himself by an accidental grenade? Yeah. Alright, fuel truck objective being in the 45-minute zone failed by West. So, yeah, fuel truck's destroyed. That's going to give a point to Op 4. Now we're going to start seeing these zones cashed in. Looks like one of the 2 Op 4 on the far north were taken out, so it's only Crazy left here. We could see this Op 4 garrison get into this zone, and maybe there will be a fight for the southern zone, because Blue 4 seem content on keeping their forces divided here. The question is going to be which side gets the advantage, and if so many units are from both factions in this zone, then will it even get cashed out? But for Op 4 to have a chance, it really needs to go in Op 4's favor. Another RPG goes out. I really hope he wasn't aiming for this building and just missed, but you know, shit happens. Was he trying to crawl out and he got stuck on the stairwell? Is that Sam or Jamera as QQQ? I'm assuming Sam. So Gerald putting some shots in, freaking these guys out. They have no idea where they're being engaged from. He folds away immediately after only wounding them. I think he's out of grenades too. That's a really good spot to camp. He doesn't know they're both still on the roof, though. You had 120 rounds, but wasn't enough? Yeah, fair. I mean, that Mora also ended up taking two SMAs and surviving, so it was interesting. Gerald really doing his best to try to weed those guys out, but it's not enough. Nemesis, I think, just got killed off. Jonathan now pushing Overdrive's building. He doesn't realize that that doorway got opened, and he gets pushed and eliminated. Double tap so hard he falls off the building. Gerald desperately trying to get these two guys, and they just somehow are able to evade them every single shot. All right, the other Op 4 player up to the north, that was Crazy. He got eliminated. And the crew actually ran back. And you mean they... That thing should be dead. Honestly, that thing should be freaking dead. That thing's gonna come out and annihilate this BTR.
Send in GOAT team.
So OFCRA, I mean, based off of the numbers, they might actually get the southern position,
yes.
but
Tank go boom.
getting the middle, anything's possible. Arcus, thanks for that 3-month resub, buddy. I hope you keep enjoying the operations. I do hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. He just, Gerald found another one. Now he's at 5. Rest of this game is just going to be OFCRA trying to clear out the rest of this zone. Blue 4 is going to hold the center zone, I think. I don't know what they're rallying around here for. You just have the warrior camping rear. As soon as that BTR pushes forward, it's going to get blown up. Now we just wait and see.
Send in GOAT team 6.
Catch him, thanks for the 27-month resub, buddy. Hope you keep enjoying the ops. Hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. Looks like they're trying to vault over each other's heads to then climb over. And they just can't seem to get the angle on this. There we go. They found Marvin in a corner and just engaged him, and then also opened the wall up. Warrior, you now here moving up, and they find the BTR. And of course the BTR gets immediately annihilated on the spot. Balance. Gerald is done hunting down these two chuckleheads, Bard and Vovkodov. He spent so much time trying to kill them, BTR cooks off. And now he finally gets an angle again. Can he get him this time? I'm waiting with bated breath here. I want to see it. He knows they're up there. He just doesn't have anything to like launch up there. He gets one. That was Bard. He immediately runs into another building. I think OFCRA, if this zone hasn't been scored already, I think Blue 4 actually pulling back and scoring the zones right now, though. Here, let me tab out real quick and check. So the first zone was 30 minutes, which we're well past already. That center zone was 50 minutes. So based on that, and the next one's 70 minutes, which would be cashed in at the 118 mark. So Blue 4 definitely got that zone. This one, I'm just going to say, is contested. But then you got 3 points there and then 4 points there for the end of the game. So the Blue 4 garrison's just going to keep moving back at this point, as OPFOR are just stuck in a firefight here. So I think it's GG. Blue 4 already have a majority of the zones that have been capped at certain times. let's say for argument, OFCRA, while they were doing this attack, did get the number advantage. I don't think they did, but let's just say it because that's the only way OFCRA have scored any points here. That means they've got 1 point for the fuel truck and then 3 points for this zone. Blue 4 have 2 points for this zone and then 3 points for that zone. But what's OFCRA's number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Blue 4 have also gotten the supremacy bonus for knocking OFCRA down below 2. So that's 1 point. So 2 points there, 3 points total, 3 more points here, 6 points. When this gets cashed in at the 70-minute mark, which is going to be an hour 18. So I think Blue 4 have gotten this. And with an unkillable warrior marauding, so OFCRA can't do any vehicle rushes, I think it's kind of obvious where this is going. Wow, Greg just caught... Is that Lolo out of position? No, that was NASA. Wow. No, wait. So there's 2 radio guys here. So I don't know how the other one died. But either way, OFCRA now down to 5 players. Or 6. It was at 7 earlier, but yeah, now it's gone. Now you got Blue 4 just cooking off all the vehicles. Yeah, okay, it was Lolo. He just disconnected. Alright, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to wait till the hour 18 mark, because that's when Blue 4 will win by points anyway. Because at that point, if OFCRA just continue to drag their feet, there's not going to really be any contact till like the very end, so we'll give it the next 15 minutes and we'll see if anything develops. Overall, I think the only reason OFCRA lost is because of those early on ambushes wiping 2 squads. Beautiful work. And then Gerald here is just systematically trying to kill everybody he runs into. Still trying to get Vov here. And he's too panicked to leave the building. And the Warriors now just driving through everything, realizing it's practically unkillable. Wait, where's Gregory? Wait, no, where did... Okay, he's... I was having trouble finding him for a second, don't know why. So I don't know if these 3 are gonna try to move up to that zone. Gerald just got the knockout. He's crippled. Did he get him with iron sights on an SVG? Jesus. Even if Vosberg finds an AT4 and gets a hit on the Warrior, it's not going to do anything. Vov wakes back up, only to get knocked out again. Gerald can't decide if he wants to push up an angle or run across. I think because he saw Jonathan and freaked out. Iander found AT. And finally gets it with a tandem warhead. That Warrior has taken 4 or 5 rockets, multiple autocannon rounds, and it finally dies. Ah, I see. It's the GOAT, isn't it? Definitely the GOAT. And finally, the crew is taken out. Gerald slowly pushing. I don't think Kadav's waking up after that second double tap. Random small round just went out because they got the slight high ground. We do have a transport truck OPFOR could take, but not a lot there. Finish him. Free small. Bro took the backpacks, dropping everything he doesn't need. Some splints, and then we've got no telling what those utility items are. One blue 4 guy remaining. OPFOR doing some double tapping shots just to verify that that one warrior goes down. OPFOR down to 6. More small rounds coming in. I don't think blue 4 identified the vehicle right there. The GOAT has had enough. Oh, from here though, I don't see how OPFOR can transition up, you know? Eight minutes left before that final zone's cashed. Well, no, excuse me, not that final zone. Final zone's the purple one, but that zone is. I think they finally realized they should probably put some rounds on this truck. And that does nothing to it. All right. The small feels strangely underpowered for this scenario, based off of the shots I've been seeing it deliver. But yeah, you got OPFOR stuck in the zone here. You got even the small rounds firing in just to provide suppression. All of these shots from these various rooftops here. I don't see what OPFOR can do. Geek here, I think, just wants to stay in this building till the end of time. He's too scared to move up. And you still have Gerald running around. He's out for blood. So I wonder if he took fire from this building earlier. And, you know, Geek never moved, so now he's just coming for revenge. It's hard to say. It's a big-ass rock. Gerald is on 7. Lieutenant Dan, though, who just disconnected, he was on 14 for blue 4, though. He's looting bodies. I see, so he's going to go scope. He might try to pick some people off here. I mean, this isn't a bad sniper position. Well, I don't think Gerald's not going directly for that building, so if he was using something to figure out that, you know, there was a guy there, I think he would have tried to push it by now. Instead, I think he's going to where he's known he's killed people to grab gear, and then he's trying to look around to see what he can do with it. Because he knows that his side is losing, and there's a bunch of dudes to the north. He's just going to triple time out. You gotta remember, there was a Blue 4 garrison here, and this guy's never moved, but, you know, one of the guys got picked off somewhere, possibly by Gerald, so I don't think he just wants to push it and say he's just gonna go forward, try to get to the objectives here. Same with these 3 OFCRA players. Blue 4 at, let's see, 3, 4, 5. That's the big group right there. Alright. 5, 6, 7, and then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's what? 6 to 15? Good luck. And this gets cashed out in another 5 minutes. The question is, does OFCRA have any RPGs or grenades left, or grenadier rounds that could potentially get on that position? Instead, we just got OFCRA checking bodies around here. You never know, Geek might decide to be aggressive here. I keep hearing him do medical, though. Gerald, what he's got to be worried about, though, is, I mean, the smog gives him away. And I'm half expecting him to get gunned down by a machine gun out in this open area, but for fun, let's just see what happens. Yeah, so I think they just tried to noob tube him, but it was way off. I have no idea what Kevin was aiming for there, to be honest. We're trying to see some blind suppression. Oh, that's accurate on some of these guys, but they're proning it out. Zamil looks like he got knocked out, possibly by Gerald here. He is doing a quick reload. I'm waiting to see that smog come out. Trying to get some more shots on Zamil, I bet. But he is able to pull away in time. 3 minutes, because the only way OFCRA can then win is to go and run up in the purple zone, but I think the decisive fight is just going to be right here. I don't know why Dan's running in the open trying to take these rocks. GL's, I mean, very well placed, but just not on target. Another well-placed GL, just not close enough. Looking on the other side, though, I mean, this is it, because the other 3, I mean, we see Manco and Jonathan knocked out. Oh, man, wakes back up. Some suppressed shots. Gerald still looking around, aiming high with his marksman rifle. And he saw movement on that window. Yep. He's going to fold back into cover. OFCRA with 4 remaining. Blue 4 with still a significant chunk of infantry. OFCRA digging a trench to, I guess, hold this position. I'm pretty sure it's GG. Jonathan also woke back up. Callie's pushing, though. He knows something's up. He's going to toss a nade. It's going to be just short, though. Gets the bounce on the nade and gets the kill. Lolo now pushing ahead, trying to move to Gerald's position. OFCRA with 4 remaining. Double tapping by Callie. All right, Gerald, you've got a 10-round marksman rifle, and you are being aggressively pushed, buddy. I don't think this is going to go well for you. You don't have the right equipment for this. Oh, I don't know. And he gets flanked and eliminated by Lolo. Well, and it looks like Manco also got eliminated somewhere on the corner. There's the 20-minute call. Blue 4 had more people than OFCRA in that northern zone. They're just double tapping the shit out of him. One of them just bad fragged on accident. Parthius is the one running up. OFCRA aggressively trying to push these guys in. It's pretty much GG. Yeah, there's double tapping, there's mag dumping, of course. Well, there's one. Can Eander channel his inner Eander and make his way out of this fight without killing himself? Let's have a look. I said that rhetorically. We all know what's about to happen. He lost connection. And he Thank you so much for watching. Go operate operationally, enjoy the rest of your day or night, cheers, and have a good one. Not gonna lie, in that position, I'd probably do the same thing.